Hello, I'm going to show you a scheduling system for food factories and engineering, in fact anything really. A number of ways of actually importing data. But first of all, we'll have a quick look at the menu system. There's master data, typically a product book, a bill of material, full bill of material, and allergen books and customers, what you'd expect. There's a planning, a forecasting system, campaigning, forecast analysis. Different reports there, EDI, which are orders that come in, planned orders, which we'll use today, I think, planned orders, which is almost like the orders coming in from an ERP system. A planning board, little bit like a spreadsheet, but a capacity planning board for planning, SFDC, shop floor data capture, and then we can look at importing in for some OE reports on downtime, KPIs, and a scheduler. But to start with, why don't we just have a quick look at the forecast here, which is set up, and very quickly, won't spend too much time on it. And you can see there are 4 different plots there. The top one is the forecast, and then you've got a budget. And the budget is the forecast that you did previously, in this case, a few weeks ago. And the blue one is what forecast we did, and this is for the whole factory of mine, last year. And then the light green one is the actual data from an EDI. And I guess if I pick on one of these jobs, any one of them, select that job there. And now it's actually drilled it straight into that SKU, and we can now see the forecast, the EDI, and historical data from last year. So then you can adjust this forecast on the side here, get the hot weather, cold weather, different peaks and troughs. You can adjust the forecast in here, or you can import the forecast and just use that as it is. So that's one way. Now, if we actually, if we want to use that forecast to generate capacity, it's quite easy. We go to a script, if you like, this actually we can run, and I could pick on, well, let's just generate forecast to planning board for 7 days. This will generate a planning board for us. And the planning board is a little bit like a spreadsheet, but it is a database. Holds all the data, and it's got algorithms and control inside. Very useful for capacity planning. I'll just run this very quickly. You can see it's on 9 of 11 there. It's going to go through these different programs, algorithms, and let's finish that 11 of 11. Should finish that in a few seconds. Dunk. Now we can go and have a look at the planning board that is generated very quickly. Looks like a spreadsheet, and there's 7 days worth there. If I hover over, it's got 12 hours of work per resource, that's a resource per day, and these are algorithms on the side. There's lots of algorithms in Core, but they're just 2 simple ones here, and that will balance it across preferred resources. So anything on that line will now move across to some space, and I'll do the same on pack line 2. And that's going to move across somewhere. Yep, so it's all gone. And so what it's done is generated these finished goods, and it said, well, if you're going to make those jobs, you're going to need these WIP products to go along with it. But we're going to actually take it a little bit further and say, well, actually, we've got some stock as well. So if I go into the stock system and say, well, don't just use the WIP we've got, let's take the stock. And in this case, the green area are product, the shelf life that can be sold today, meaning to depot. The blue one are frozen, and when you get to the blue ones, they become available, and the system will use it. And it will project that right forward and use that data. Right. So now let's very quickly go into the scheduler and see how we can use that. Oh, before we do that, sorry, I'll jump in the gun here. We'll go to planned orders, and if your MRP or ERP system says, well, these are the orders I'm going to make today, and I want you to schedule them. Well, there's the finished goods, and there's some WIP jobs in there as well for the day, the 24th today. Then I can turn around and say, well, let's just schedule those, and not bother to schedule the forecast, and probably not take account of the stock. But in this case, I will just have a look at the stock. So if I now go to the scheduler, just as an example really, go to the CoreScheduler for today. I could add a new one for today, which is in there anyway. And then we'll look at the planning, or we'll look at the planned orders, These are the algorithms for the planned orders, a number in there. We don't need all of them, it's just set up as a demo. And then if I pull in the planned orders for today, over to the right here, there's the orders there. And I can schedule those onto the line. Well, it's opening out for 3 days there, but what I'm going to do is cut that down, just to show you a little bit, to 2 days. Maybe go back a day so I can a little bit more, and then possibly just show you how it works now. Actually, zoom in a bit so we can see. And there's our schedule for today. In some food factories, they actually schedule the breaks. So if I inject the breaks, what this means is they've gone in there. There's a time setting on the breaks when we want them, and it will fit them in, and then that will appear on the work to list. I can move these jobs around and balance them a little bit better if I wish, and move them around on the screen. So that's the breaks in there. If we've got stock, we looked at the stock earlier. Pull the stock in, it appears across the top there as stock. And maybe I'm going to have to bring in those WIP products down here. They should come across to the right there. And if I've got stock, I've got WIP, I've got products, then probably I want to peg them and see which jobs are going to use the actual stock and which are going to use the WIP. And I could actually put something in from underscore WIP, see if there's anything pegged in there. Yep, there's a number of jobs pegged against WIP, and I can look at the data and analyse that as well. In this case, I'm just going to actually schedule the WIP, plan the peg WIP, and you'll see that some of it's gone in for the day before, which I don't want, but it's because the settings are such that it's probably got a 3 or 4 hour, it's got to be prepared 3 or 4 hours before today. Well, we obviously can't do that on this example, so what I've just done there, I'm going to push those back and say, well, they can only start at 6 o'clock. So there's the WIP jobs coming in at 6 o'clock. And if I can show you that quite quickly, that WIP job's clear there. And if I click on any one of these, and you can see that one's got all stock as it happens. And look at another one back there, that one's got all stock. So we're looking at a pegged situation against stock and some WIP coming in here. Now at that point in time, without going into too much detail, I'll write this to SFDC, shop floor data capture, at the top there. So I hit that button, and that should go straight into SFDC, where we can go in and have a look at it. Well, I'll look at the OE reason code system. I think I'll just clear out some of my tabs across the top here, warning me to make sure I wanted to do that. There's the schedule, there's the planned orders. So I'll go into the OE input screen there. Let's have a look at that now. Now the last one I created was at the top of the list, and I did it for the 25th, actually, 24th, that's right. If I bind the grid, I should see all of that work coming through there. And if I'm only really interested in one resource, maybe Packline 1, I'll bind the grid for it. So those are the jobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs on Packline 1. 1, 2, 3, they're in there actually. And now I could start recording time against these jobs. So if I pick on the top one, just to keep it simple, and say, well, okay, I'm going to cheat and say it's all as planned, but I didn't actually make 200, I made 230, and there was some downtime on this job, engineering if you like, and there's, I don't know, maybe, what can I say, maybe the barcode scanner was wrong and lost 30 minutes or something like that. Insert the downtime. I'll say it's now complete and saved it. So now I've recorded that downtime against that job. Yeah. So these guys would be working through this work through this on the shop floor, recording downtime, all sorts of downtime. And if I went to the KPI analysis and looked at downtime for today, let's pull that up there, downtime. Or let's do these. Well, I'm going to look at the one we've got for today. For today, all reason code. Refresh the screen, and there's our planned downtime there, 24 minutes against that job. 24 minutes put in there. So now we've actually, what we've done is we've looked at a scheduling system. So a very quick video actually that we pulled in orders from an ERP system, and we looked at stock, we've looked at a schedule, we've still got a schedule going there, we've sent that to the shop floor, and we've recorded downtime. Just a quick video to show you what it can do. Thank you.